Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Velocity 2016 in Santa Clara. I'm here with Gabby. Gabby, how you doing?
I'm great.
So you're from Israel.
Yeah.
And you formed a company called LoomSystems.
Sure.
And can you tell me a little bit about what Loom does?
Sure. So LoomSystems is building a platform that empowers analysts to be more insight-driven using AI. So what we did with our first product, LoomSystems Ops, it's a product that helps the analysts do the pre-processing and aggregation without any configurations. So we automate all of this, and then the analysts just get pushed with insights on top of his data.
So when you say you automate all this and with the data, are you just pointing something at a bin of data, or what does that automation process look like?
So we found that most analysts, and it can be in very different verticals, like it could be in IT, like in our first product, and it can be in BI, and it can be in security, for instance, or IoT. So we found that they do the same methodologies into going into their data and finding significant issues. So we built, using AI, we've built a software solution that can look into the data and find what is interesting, like a human.
Anomalies.
Sure, it could be anomalies, it could be trends, it could be correlations that are interesting in your data. And we found that there's a methodology to find these things and put it in front of the analyst. So then the analyst can just provide the business context, which is interesting for the organization, instead of doing all the technical, tedious work.
So at a conference like Velocity, there's a lot of DevOps people, and they're doing monitoring, which is really looking at a lot of data to find where there's a potential problem. So in that scenario, are you pushing alerts to those people, or what are you providing them?
So what we do with the IT product is you can just take all your logs and all your metrics or whatever data source that you have, and you can push it into the system. The system would automatically learn the baseline of your information, and whenever something which is of significance to a human would happen, the system would automatically find that out. So we're using machine learning and AI to find things sort of like in deep learning. We're using the same concepts to find features in the data, and then on top of this we have an AI system that finds these anomalies.
So using deep learning, you could look at historical data, and you could kind of train your machine learning to figure out what Black Friday could look like for a company, or?
Sure. So it's, at first we started with doing specifically IT issues, because we wanted to help the support engineers find problems and things that they should look for, even opportunities in their data. So when you talk about sales data, for instance, if you take this high velocity data from e-commerce sites, which we work with, then you find that most of what they do with this, they divide it between having IT issues and doing BI, which BI today is usually batch oriented and done by analysts on monthly data or whatever. But then they miss all the opportunities in real time, such as you're talking about.
Right. So in an event like this today, Artur Bergman gave a DDoS talk.
Sure.
Could your deep learning and your machine learning kind of predict what sort of DDoS event is happening to you?
Sure. So because the solution is working like a human, what would happen is it would automatically parse the logs without have any configuration, and it would look for all the IPs that take into the logs, and it would understand that they're all from the same subnet, for instance, or it can be like different subnets, but all of a sudden there's an increase in how people are accessing a certain resource. So it would highlight this, and it would ask you for your recommendation as an analyst on what it means. So we provide insights that are crowdsourced to the analyst of the world. So whenever one person would find that this is how a signature of a DDoS looks, so every other customer of LoomSystems is going to get to these insights instantly in real time without having to configure anything or teach these tribal knowledge, which is what is going on today in an organization.
So what does LoomSystems actually bring to an enterprise? What do you install something? Do you learn and then give them solutions? What is it you guys actually bring to a company?
Okay, so we also innovate in that space because it takes us 90 minutes to install and get the first insight in almost every organization, which is a lot less than every other ITOA product right now in the market. And being like working on log data, as you said, we can start with historic data because most organizations today, they save their log data. So you kind of get you get the analyst on top of your log management solutions. So every time an organization and big enterprises, they have log management solutions, we've built the analyst that sits on top of these solutions, empowering the people that want to look at the data.
So an analytical tool on top of the log data.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you think about predictive and where you can go with deep learning and doing predictive results, where would you like to see LoomSystems in 12 months from now?
So I think that when I look at the future, I think that IT complexity and the volume of data is exponentially increasing. And I think that doing analysis on top of data, especially in real time, it has to be done by machines because the human manual method, which is pervasive right now, is not sustainable. So I think that Loom is going to penetrate this market very fast, and we're seeing it. We're only 1 year in the market, and we're having a lot of companies approach us, even though we're not doing that much marketing yet. And they're very excited because it only takes 90 minutes to get us in the door. Well,
so 90 minutes, but is that for petabytes and petabytes of data that's unstructured and structured and in different formats, on-premise, off-presence, cloud? Is it still 90 minutes?
Sure. So we have deployments in SaaS and also on-premise. We're working with companies like insurance companies, banks now we're starting to work with. So it doesn't have, I don't think most organizations, they don't have petabytes of logs per day. That's too much.
No.
But we are seeing like a few terabytes a day of log data, which is common in big and
in only going to get bigger, right?
Sure.
Right.
So one of the things that we're doing is analyzing it in real time. It saves a lot of the costs related to saving all these logs,
and then going and retrieving it. Right. So real time will avoid that whole archival mess. Yeah. Well, Gabby, we look forward to your journey and seeing what LoomSystems does in the future. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.